Okay, this video is on how to estimate a sod installation. Particular to this video is how to estimate a fescue sod install. So we are going to start out here on the Beginner's Guide to Lawn Care Landscaper's Corner Advanced page. Stay on this page. Even though we're not measuring for Bermuda, you can actually watch the video on how to use this calculator because you'll see how the dimensions, when we punch in this one calculator, it'll actually calculate it for all grass types. St. Augustine, Zenith zoysia, Emerald zoysia, tall fescue, St. Augustine, I can't remember, and centipede. Okay, so you can watch that video, but even though we're just going to punch it in this first box, even though we're going to actually estimate for tall fescue, we'll come back to this page in a minute. I'm going to go over this video is particular to the measuring from the satellite view, and you can watch the video on how to actually walk off the dimensions and use the calculator also. I'm real busy this time of year, so I do not have time to actually go to the customer's house. He wants to estimate pretty quick here to see if I can lay sod. So I'm going to show you how to measure using your it's called the GCIS coordinate mapping system, which you should be able to find through your county. I live in Greenville County, South Carolina. I'm going to go down to real estate property search. Each county's website is set up different, and it takes a while to kind of learn it. But you can also do goilon.com, where you actually pay to pull up a global satellite measuring tool. But you pay like $5 for your property to do the estimate. And then if they're huge properties, and you kind of have to zoom out to different zones and kind of scan over large areas, you even have to pay more. I've even paid up to like $15 to do large commercial properties. To me, it's kind of like, why would I do that when I found this one for free and I can do everything the same, pretty much everything in this as you can on GoIlon. However, GoIlon.com is good. It's good, but I'd rather not pay anything. Okay, so in this greenvillecounty.org, you can search the customer's name, you can search the street, the mapping number, whatever. I'm just going to search the street. It's King Reserve. It's already in there because I've been here before. Okay, just going to click search. I'm going to go down to house number 2, view map. Notice this up here, gcgis.org app, Greenville. Your county should have access to this mapping system. Kind of depends on where you live, but here's the property that we're estimating. This is a regular customer of mine. He's on a year-round. I maintain him all the time, monthly. He's got Bermuda. So the reason why we're going to estimate, we're only estimating sod back here in this area because there's all these trees around and there's so much shade. This area, literally, the Bermuda has not done well at all because Bermuda likes sun, and it doesn't get much sun at all. And so I told him, hey, let's just do the back fescue. It'll look really nice, stay green year round, even though this won't. I told him, hey, it's mostly mud back here. It's kind of like just really hard to keep it. And there's so many leaves that fall back here that I have to get up. It's really hard to keep that sod thick. So I told him, let's do an estimate here. And he wants me to do it. And I give him that estimate pretty quick. So I'm going to show you how to measure this out and draw it out and everything. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to click on Tools and click on Measure. And there's 2 different ways to measure using this tool. You have this is just a distance measuring tool, and this is actually literally trying to measure the exact area. Now, this is nice to try to get the areas exact. And then the length times width is how you would do it if you walked it off in sections. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this up I'm going to first show you how, if you were to walk it, length times width, and then go over to the landscape calculator and punch it in these sections or these areas to try to figure out how much sod we actually need. Okay, so I'm going to section this area off from this bush to here, over here, this square area. I'm going to section that first. So I'm going to do, I did not mean to do that. Okay, I'm going to click, since I already clicked on this distance button over here, I'm going to click here. I'm going to do length. Okay. Now you want to punch in, when we measure this, double click, you want to punch in the exact amount of feet. Because the way this measuring calculator, I mean, it's down, it's needs to be punched in exactly. So 17.1, 17.1, and arrow over to the width, go back here to, and we're going to measure the width. So we're going to start right here, and since we're squaring this off, we're going to go over to the edge of this bush at 17 feet exactly. Double click, go up here, punch in 17 feet exactly. Okay, that's it. That's area 1. Alright, that's about a half a pallet of sod right there that we'll need. Go back here, and we're going to section off this section now. We're going to square this off again. Just like the last one. Now it's a little bit, going to be a little bit tricky because it's kind of at an angle, but it's okay. I'm going to actually start from this edge again, and then I'm going to click to the edge of this bush, and that's 14.7. So I'm going to go up here, click in here, and click 14.7. Okay. Arrow over, and let's see. Let's start from here. So we're doing just length times width. Click here. 13.5. And again, if you were walking off these sections, you would just literally walk your feet end to end, just like I've showed you on other estimates, like measuring for mulch installs and pine needle installs and all of that, just sectioning off length times width. Okay, so I'm sorry, I forgot what that was. 13.5. 13.5. Okay. Let's see what it looks like we might need there. Okay, not quite half a pallet. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to go up, and we're going to start a new section. So I'm going to go again. Length times width. I'm going to start right here at the edge of this. I'm going to go to the edge of that bush. And then double click there. That's exactly 17 feet. Okay. Punch that in 17. Arrow over. Then I'm going to do the width. Click one time. Double click. 10.2 feet. Okay. 10.2. Alright. So, as of right now, we need 1 1/3 pallets. Now, this is Bermuda. The measurements, the calculation, depends on where you get your sod from. Will depend on how many square feet come in a pallet. The average around here, at least in South Carolina, Bermuda, 504 square feet, or they say 500 square feet. It's actually 504 square feet, to be exact. Okay, and that's how I calculated this calculator. Now, Some of the other sods come in different square footage. I think St. Augustine is 450 square feet, so I calculated according to that, and I'll show you how this calculator adds these different grass types up. It calculates all the grass types all at once for you to have, and you can download that spreadsheet straight to your computer and have it right there. You can just print it off. It's a really nice feature calculator that I created for you. Okay, now this area is a little bit tricky because it's kind of at an angle, but the whole thing angles. So I'm just gonna make one last kind of measurement. So I'm gonna click here. I'm trying to get. Okay, and we're just going to the edge of the house here. So I'm going to click here, double click, 24.8. I'm going to punch it in here, 24.8. Arrow over, and the width. Go there. There. So is that 11.8? You want to do exactly what you measure, because when you do square footage, length times width, you know, it can really mess with you if you don't do it exact. Like once you multiply length times width if you don't do exactly how many feet. Okay. All right, so that looks like 1.89 pallets that we would need on the Bermuda. Now I'm going to actually, since I'm measuring for fescue, I'm going to just scroll over to the fescue sod. Now notice all the dimensions that I punched in that first block, it automatically added it up into this next calculator. I just created this calculator that way. No matter what sod type grass you want, you start with that first Bermuda section, you just punch it in and it totally calculates them all up for you. Okay, so it's the same thing because there's 500 square feet in a pallet of tall fescue for the sod. All right, so that's one way of measuring. So what I would do is I would just round this up to two pallets. Okay, and I'll show you how to estimate the cost in a second. Another way, I want to go back here and show you how to use one of these measuring tools, because what you can do, I'm just going to exit this to get rid of that. Click Tools again, go down here, hit Measure, and then click on this Area tool. Okay, this is really cool too. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our areas, and we're going to actually kind of block these areas off. I'm going to click here. I'm going to drag this, and it's literally going to measure pretty exact. I'm kind of going under this bush here, going up to the edge of these areas, kind of squaring, trying to square these little areas off. See how it's actually going to measure every different part. Okay, so it's really interesting. I like this tool. This is actually, if I'm going to measure from the satellite, this is how I would actually do it. If I'm going to walk the feet off, because I know this is about what it is right here. So I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to click down here on square feet. Okay. Now my square footage is not showing up because notice down here my internet connection went out, which is really annoying. Okay, and it would measure. I hate it the connections because you can't see it right now. Okay, but this measurement is going to be pretty close. It might be a little bit off, you know, the exact dimensions if you want every little corner here, but you want to just have an estimate, and you always want to have a little more. And I've already tested this thing off. This is going to be pretty accurate. Let me actually kind of redo this page and see if I can get this to come up, because my internet connection came back. Okay, so let's go back here, and we're going to try this again on measuring this way. Now I started. I can't remember which one I started at. So we're going to just measure here, here, and we're just going to really just kind of outlining this whole area, and it's going to give us an exact measurement. So I'm just going to double click like this and see what that says. Okay, so that says, now that's an acreage. We want to go down here to square feet. 1,060 square feet. Now notice I did every little angle and dimension, so it's going to be a little bit more accurate than mine here at the I don't see the total square feet here in this, but I'm calculating, and at 500 square feet or 504 square feet, I know that 1,000 square feet would take exactly 2 pallets, actually slightly a little more. And so notice this is, since I'm measuring length times width on this, this is a little bit less. So this is still a good average. So 1.8, I'm going to round up to 2 pallets. And then measuring this way, I would round down to 1,000 and just do 2 pallets. Okay, so that's how you measure here. Now, if you want to actually print this off for the customer, I can actually click on draw here. Now notice the measurement went away, which is fine because I've already got my measurements. And then I can draw here. I'm going to click on green because I want to fill in green. I want the opacity about 60. The size, I'll just say, let's say 2. And you can actually draw in I'm sorry, you have to click and hold and draw in. I mean, and this is like detailed to how you draw it, so you're not going to get it perfect. You have to left click and hold down, and so I'm kind of drawing in the areas that where I would put the sod at. Okay. Alright, so I'm holding there. Now notice how that filled that green in. So I can actually go up here and click print right here. See how it says 8.5 by 11? And I can do portrait or I can do landscape. Okay, landscape obviously it's not going to show very well, so I want to do portrait. And if you want to zoom in, let's see here, where's my zoom button? I might just be able to do this. No, I can't. Okay, they've changed this website up a little bit, but I should be able to. I'm trying to zoom in a little bit, but let me hide this and hit zoom in over here. Or I'm sorry, zoom out. Okay. Now I'm going to hit print, so I will get in that portrait area. So this is what's going to print on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. See here. and I can click on include data table. Okay, I see that actually opens that area up. If I want to include the data table, okay, I can title this if I want, like to King reserve sod estimate, and I can put tall fescue or whatever, and then I can click print. Or sometimes, I don't know why this is take the data table off, and I can create a JPEG out of this. If I just want to create a JPEG picture, I can create a PDF, or I can actually print it, just straight to the printer. So I'm actually, since I've taken that off, I'm gonna exit out of here. I'm gonna click zoom in because I want this in a little bit better. Go back up here, click the print, and take that data table off again. Okay, so I can actually click on JPEG right here. Look at this. This is going to be awesome. Click on JPEG, and it's going to load this into a print view. Now, I don't know if my internet connection is acting up or what. Okay, but see, it says print test failed because I don't have my printer actually attached. So, I'm not sure why I did that because I clicked on JPEG. Something's not loading right here, but it doesn't matter. It just kind of shows you the options that you can do depending on your website, your county website. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go back over here. I want to actually go to the landscape calculator and see the dimensions, 1.895 pallets. Okay, now down here you're going to put, because you're going to want to estimate. I'm actually doing an actual estimate for this man right now. Okay, now this says cost of labor per pallet. Now notice my calculations are added up in all of the calculators. So when you go Emerald Zoysia, Zenith Zoysia, I've got St. Augustine, I've got Bermuda. Notice it's calculated. St. Augustine, because it comes in 450 square feet pallets, the calculation is a little bit different. I would need a little bit more pallets here, okay, of the sod. It's going to take a little bit more. Okay, now, but when I'm estimating the actual cost, I've got it separated, so you actually punch in the calculator exactly, the exact calculator of what you want to use, so the exact type of grass. So I want to do tall fescue, so I'm going to put cost per pallet. Now you can charge the customer the retail price of the pallet, or you can charge them your landscaper discount. I don't want to do that. I'm getting a discount because I'm a landscaper, but they're still customers, so you want to charge them retail price. So the retail price on this pallet, on this, is $200. Okay, $200. Okay. Now, some people, I don't know why that just did that. 200. Okay. Per pallet. Okay, so right there it's $379. Now if I rounded this up to 2, because this calculator is so accurate, you're gonna round your cost up, and I'll show you in a second. So that really would have rounded this up to 400 just for the pallet, plus you got taxes. Okay, so really, if I were you, I would go ahead and count taxes. So just say 10% for taxes. So just say, I mean, taxes aren't 10% on. I'm not even sure on sod. I guess it'd be 6 or 7 here in South Carolina. I'm just going to say 220, including taxes. Okay, and I want to make on labor. I want to make $200 per pallet. Okay, so notice it jumped that price up, $200 per pallet. That's how much labor I want to make. Okay, now you can figure out how much you want to make and how long it takes you to lay. I charge on all of my installations. I want to make at least $50 an hour because you need to make $50 an hour. Some of you, when you first start your business, you're going to try to charge $20 an hour, and then you're going to pay for your gas and your expenses and everything else, and then you're not going to make very much money. So you need to try to make $50 an hour because when you're smaller, you're going to return a lot more off of that. But at the bigger you get, your percentage that you actually make off of this is not going to be a whole lot. So $200 might seem like a lot. The delivery charge, my company that I use to buy sod, they charge $50 for up to 4 pallets, and then 5 through, I think they said 23 pallets or 25 pallets, it's $75. Okay, so the delivery charge is $50. Okay, so I'm going to click enter there. All right, now that brought this up to $846. Now you're not going to give this to the customer. This is just so you're trying to figure out how much you want to charge them for this job. Okay? So this guy, he actually told me if I could do this job for $1,000, he wanted me to do it. Okay? So obviously I'm within that range. So I actually want to round this up because I know that this was on the low side of the actual pallets. We actually wanted 2. So I'm going to round this up to $900. Okay? So I'm going to tell him that I can lay sod in this area, in this green area, and I can print this off, or I can save it as a PDF right here, create it as a PDF, and I can attach it to my estimate that I will give him. I will make a separate estimate, and I will attach it and show him this is where I will lay your sod, and it will be $900. That includes labor, delivery, price of sod, and prep. And I'll show you how to actually lay the sod because he told me he wants me to do this, so I'm going to actually video this job. And I'll show you how to prep the ground with Milorganite and just cut the grass way back, which there's barely any grass back here, but the existing weeds or whatever. You don't have to like till it all up and everything like some people do. You just cut it down, chop it down, spread Milorganite the day before. Just sprinkle some water over it, spread some water, tell the customer to turn their sprinklers on for 20 minutes, whatever. Get that Milorganite broken up down here, and then you lay the sod the next day. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so there we go. We have an estimate. We rounded this up. We're going to round this up to $900. So when I go over to give him his estimate, I'm going to go ahead and show you this. When you do a per service estimate, you guys know this because I've shown you how to do this. You're going to do these are my templates that most of these you have included in your business kit. Okay, so I'm going to do the per service estimate template. I'm going to click on this. Okay, then I'm going to go in here, and I'm not going to put his name just for the sake of for him, but I'm going to put today's date. It's 3/18/2005. This is an estimate. His name will go there. My company's name is Turf Cutters. I don't care, and I'm going to leave all that blank right now. Okay, so this was just a template. I'm going to click delete these out. I'm going to show you how simple this is to do this estimate here for him. Alright, so I'm going to click here, sod installation, tall fescue. And I'm going to put here includes labor, delivery, and price of sod. Okay, and I'm just going to put $900. I'm not going to break it down for the customer on, this is how much the sod costs. I used to do stuff like that, and then you got customers questioning you. Oh, you're charging me this much labor. How come you're charging this much? Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't that seem like a lot? They don't know your expenses, so they don't need to see a breakdown of what costs what. You just give them the total price like this, $900. Now, if you want it broken down for your records, then you can have it broken down. That's why I have the this calculator right here. See, what you do, once you've created this calculator, go right here. See this button right down here? It says download. Click on this button. Notice how this downloaded right here. Okay, and this is now downloaded to your computer. Double click on it. Okay, you're going to see how awesome this is. This is an Excel spreadsheet. Okay. Don't enable the editing here, because if you go in here and you start messing around with this calculator and you accidentally mess up the formulas that I have in here, then when you go to print this, you're going to mess everything up. Then you're going to have to go back and redo it online. So just print it this way. Okay, so you're going to see how this looks when we go to File, and then when you click on Print. Come on now. Let's go back, because maybe we do need to enable editing. I don't know why it's doing that, to be able to print it. Okay, so click on Print. I guess you do have to enable editing. Just don't mess with the formulas or anything. Okay, so now when you print off, look how nice this is. It's all laid out. You could actually use this if your customer is trying to figure out what kind of sod they want, and they're like, what's the price differences? Okay, you're going to have your calculations are all here. It's very easy to punch in, and you're going to go down here, and you can individually put cost per pallet. I do the same cost per pallet, same cost per labor, same delivery. Okay, or I'm sorry, it's not going to be the same cost per pallet. Like tall fescue is more expensive than Bermuda. Bermuda is probably going to run about $150 a pallet. So of course you would put 150 in here. Okay, so when you print this off for your records, okay, then you'll know. Now, one awesome benefit of having this broken down in areas is, if you remember when I sectioned off the areas on the map, when I actually measured the different sections, you could do this too. You could actually, if you're drawing this out, you could draw it out in sections, and then whoever's helping you, you can literally tell them how much to lay in each section. Like when the person's dropping off the pallets, you could literally spread the pallets out over the area. Now this is only taking 2 pallets, so it's really not that big of a deal. I would drop one like right here and one here, but if you had it all over the yard here, you could section these off, and then you would know how many pallets go in each section. That's why these landscape calculators, in my opinion, of course I created them, so my opinion is going to be biased, but they're really great to have the different areas that are actually broken down by the exact pallets. It's really going to help you out when you're like, up here in the mulch, and you're getting down to the wheelbarrow load in each area. So of course you can watch the training video on that. So that's going to wrap up this video on how to estimate for sod install and measuring from the satellite view perspective.